Welcome to the channel. It's Marion back again. Today I want to chat about teen back pain. I'm going to refer to a client I saw not so long ago. Beautiful, beautiful young lady who greeted me like this. I think we all resonate with a teenage posture. Shoulders up, heart sinking, rounded back, kind of almost like they're shrinking into themselves. They don't want to be visible. It's a very age-appropriate postural type, I would say. They also walk with their arms quite straight and by their side. It's like a let's shut ourselves down so no one can pick on us. Let's not give anyone anything that they can find fault with. We're going under the radar. It's very obvious to see what state emotionally people are in by how they move. And so this young lady presented in this position. And interestingly enough, I assumed her pain was going to be in her thoracic, upper neck, shoulders. No, it's in her back. And that was interesting to me. Often where we think and where it is can be two different things. And when we started chatting, she revealed that the pain used to be around her neck and shoulders. Surprise, surprise. But lately it had been worse around her back. It was still in the up and shoulders, but it was most pronounced now in the lower back. And I think what that tells us is that we adapt to pain. When we've had it for a long time, the system is really resilient. It tends to just put it in the background, particularly if there's other more primal stresses going on, it gets shelved. And then obviously we add more layers to it because that was never sorted. It's just been accepted into the system as how we are. It causes compensations that are now into her lower back. Because her original pain started in the upper back, obviously my inclination was to go there because I felt the lower back was responding to what came first. When we're looking at back pain, the timeline is really important. Even an ankle sprain here and then back pain 6 months later is a clue. What happened with this ankle? Did the body ever learn to load it again? If it didn't, then that understands why 6 months later we've got pain showing up somewhere else. If we just dive in there and look at that, we've missed the opportunity of getting to the root of the issue. So with this girl, I simply wanted to look at the interplay between her thoracic spine and her pelvis. When we hunch our shoulders and sink our sternum, our back has to go into a round back position. With that, our pelvis gets pulled into a backward tilt or what we call a posterior tilt. You cannot have a flexed thoracic spine with an extended lower back. You can, but it takes a lot of effort and a lot of compression in all the wrong places. Normally, mechanically, when we drop from above, we cause the pelvis to tuck under behind. So if I had just looked at her back pain and said, wow, she has a posteriorly tilted backward pelvis, I would like to see a bit more anterior tilt. And if I had just tried to get her pelvis to start tilting forward without understanding that it was being broken or braked by what was happening above in the spine, I would have just created another level of pain and she wouldn't be able to achieve it because she needs the extension in the upper back to help the lower back do what I'm asking it to do. But here was the dilemma. When people are in this state, physically, they're feeling a certain way. And even though my intention would be to give her some exercises that reverse it all. I think it's a huge shift psychologically to go from this to this. And I'm always a bit reticent to impose what I want onto a body that is clearly not feeling wonderful. The person in it's not feeling wonderful. So instead, we did a movement exploration, which I love. It's an invitation for the body to experience some new shapes if the person in the body feels ready for it. So we laid down. I often start in a non-weight bearing position. We did one of my favorite exercises, the floor cogs, just so that this beautiful young lady could experience the connections. Notice when your pelvis goes this way, your rib cage does this, and your skull does this. And just notice. Notice what it does. She noticed. She became super aware that her pelvis was used to being tucked under, and that when she tried to reach it forward, she got crack, 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 crack through her upper back. She self-manipulated her own thoracic spine by simply moving her pelvis out of its default position into a new one. She enjoyed that feeling. She loved it. She felt like a lot let go, and she felt that she could actually move in a new way again. So she enjoyed it. Her body let go. That was the cue to me that it was okay to be tracking in this direction. Interestingly, when we stood her up again and I said, "How do you feel?" she said, "I feel more me." And she was standing in a really different way. And we just had that little lovely chat about how, which way does it go with our emotions? Do we feel withdrawn, depressed, and anxious, and then our body does this? Or do we do this and then we start to feel all the other emotions? I actually don't know which way it goes, but I do know when you change the posture, you change how you feel. And if you don't like how you feel, you can change your posture and you will feel differently. And even having that experience for her to have the awareness that this will make her feel a certain way and that this will make her feel completely differently, now gives her choice. Rather than nagging her to sit tall when she may be in a really, really depressed and anxious place, having someone yell at you to sit tall when you're actually just feeling shit is not helpful. We are allowed to be like this sometimes. And there's possibly phases of life where this is, this has its merits. I don't know. I'm not a teenager in the current world. But I certainly know this may be me guarding myself to walk into a school where everyone's going to have a crack at me. The irony is if I walk in like this, I'm bracing for it, almost expecting it. If I walked in like this, I'm also going to become a target because I look different to the rest. I may look more empowered and more powerful and more confident, which makes me a target. So I'm always interested and fascinated by the teen brain and its expression of its body. I don't feel it's an age group where you can win either way, but that's for them to play with, I guess. Nuts and bolts of the story is upper back pain can lead to lower back pain. Just treating the lower back pain without looking at the upper back pain will not end well. Simple movements which teach people how to connect skull, rib cage, and pelvis are really beautiful, especially when they're done in a non-weight bearing environment. When we take compression out of the spine, it can move more. As soon as we load it up, we have limits in range, and that's natural and that's normal. So having people lay down and experience some connections helps them put a new movement pathway in their motor cortex, which gives them new options for posturing. And if it's an internal choice to play with that, then we've empowered the person with a new skill that is beyond their pain. And that is what it's all about. Empowering people to understand their own bodies so that they get to make their own choices. What choices are you making? Enjoy them, whatever they are. They're all yours. You're in charge. As always, like, subscribe, drop me a response, let me know what you want to see covered, and I hope to see you in the next video.